Welcome in to the Fun Astrology Podcast. Thomas Miller. We are admittedly out of rhythm here, and that's okay. So you want to know what this eclipse is going to be like? Follow this podcast. Hey, I'm glad you're with us. It is, what are we doing this on? We're doing this on Wednesday the 19th, but also covering Thursday, April 20th. So I'm going to do 2 for 1. Because I am out of rhythm. I didn't get up, I got up plenty early, but I was working on that project. So here's what I'm going to do. The Horary is out. It is on the website, funastrology.com. If you would like to go check out the Horary class, it's right up there at the top. I did it early so that if there are any little glitches or bugs, I can work them out with you during the day today, and you won't have to suffer through the night and be frustrated because you can't get into your course. But it should work. We've tested it multiple times in multiple ways. I say we, me and my fictitious account have tested it. You know, this is a small operation here. I mean, it's me, it's Robert, it's Kristen, we got and our Facebook crew team. But I got to tell you, in this world of impersonality and everything being so big you can't even penetrate the door, I like it that way. Because if you have a problem, you're going to get me. So that's how we roll, and I hope it gets a little bigger, but not too big. You know what I mean? I don't ever want to get to that point of impersonality. So you can go to funastrology.com, and right there at the top is the thing for the course. Go check that out. Thank you for your interest in it. I hope you love it as much as I do. It has been an amazing effort, and also there is a long introductory, about 40-minute podcast that wasn't supposed to be that long on Old Soul, New Soul, where we talk about the whole thing. So that's really, we're going to move the details over to there if you'd like to hear it. And I told a story about doing some muscle testing around astrology. I'll tell you, it's at the end if you want to skip all the other part. But that story at the end is worth hearing. It was quite amazing. And it became an emotional moment for me. This has been quite a journey, lots of fatigue, but getting rested up. And so now we're going to move forward. Let's talk about this eclipse. So why would we release a course, an important course, when we're sitting on an eclipse where Pluto is just affecting everything? And then Friday, Mercury goes retrograde. Why would we do this? Well, there are some really good reasons. So first of all, and we won't talk about this, but we put the chart, Robert put it over his chart, we put it over my chart, and it both read very well. The other part is Yogananda said, you give me the most inauspicious time to start anything by astrology, and I'll make it successful. And this is a man who chose the time that he died. He gave a speech in 1952 at the Biltmore Hotel in downtown Los Angeles, stepped off the platform, and fell to the ground. That's power. And that's what we're talking about here, is which side of the coin are you on? That's the bottom line question. So let me tell you why there's justification for doing this. Well, first of all, if you look at the eclipse, you know the technicalities on it. It is a partial, or they're calling it hybrid eclipse. It is not a full eclipse. It is visible mostly in the South Pacific, the western side of Australia. So if you are listening from Western Australia and you get to see it, would love to hear about it. Just shoot me an email. Oh, we've got a new email. You want a new email? Let's see, admin@thomasmiller.co. You could use that, admin@thomasmiller.co. You could help me test it. But, let us know how that came out. Or you can use the little chat icon thing on the website. That's working great, too. The eclipse, now, if you're in Western Australia, don't follow this time. You'll miss it. It's 12:12 a.m. Eastern U.S. time. So that backs it up for 3/4 of the United States. This will happen on April 19th in the late evening. You probably already are very aware of that. The moon then, right after the eclipse, moves into Taurus at 12:29, and then, the sun moves into Taurus at 4:13 a.m. So those are all Eastern time zone times. So my chart is set to Asheville, North Carolina, 12:12 a.m., April 20th, and there's a superstellium in the 5th house where this eclipse is happening. And in that stellium is the planet of expansion, Jupiter. And of course, the visual of just seeing the moon and the sun sitting right there together, new moon territory, From here, the moon starts to expand and get bigger. Dreams, visions, and courses planted during this time expand and get bigger. With Jupiter, see, I'm feeling this even as I'm saying it. See, I've been getting so emotional around this. I've heard of a lot of you guys are experiencing this just sudden emotion. I can feel it. The expansion from this. Mercury, it's a communication project. Uranus is also in the stellium. It rules astrology. What more can you say? And this is a child being born for Robert and me. Another reason is both Saturn and Neptune are in Pisces. Saturn, longevity, legacy, solidity, solid, being solid, and we have built this thing solid. This is a great program. Neptune, the spirituality, the revival of the soul that's happening right now. And that's probably why so many of us are so emotional right now. Things are stirring. And then Pluto, the planet of transformation, sitting at 0 degrees Aquarius. In this chart, it's in the money house, the second house. And it is square to the axis of the nodes of the moon. So it's at a bending point of the nodes, number one. And that also puts it, as Robert mentioned in the other podcast, at a square point to the eclipse axis. If you look at basically the cusp of Taurus and the cusp of Scorpio, then it's right on the square to that. So what we're talking about is something that, because it's sitting at 0 degrees and because the eclipse is at 29 degrees 50 minutes, which is like just about 0 degrees, we're talking about Pluto and this eclipse hitting every one of the cusps of your signs. If you're in whole sign houses, then it's hitting every one of your house and sign cusps. Transformation is in the air. Any kind of alignment with transformation, I think, is going to be tremendously successful. Yes, there is the Pluto death and rebirth, but remember, Pluto is power. I like seeing the 3 times the strength of Mars planet being in the second house of money, in the sign of astrology, on the day that you're releasing an astrology course. All I can say there is thank you in advance. So you see, it is all about the alignment, because there was a time in my own life where I was so out of alignment and so unconscious, at least to this way of living, that Pluto was a club to my head and gut and groin and knees and everywhere. It had to knock me down. Those days are past. So this eclipse gives us more than ever an opportunity to look at the coin very carefully and decide which side of it we're going to be on. Now, the collective, that's another discussion. And this eclipse could have some longer-term impacts to the collective because it is hitting all of those critical points, and also because it is so transformational. And you have 2 very big sticks. The Blues Brothers of Karma, Saturn and Pluto, are prominent in this position. Now, some of you are going to want to stick around and stay up or be up during the exact eclipse.